Now, to measure engagement, there's a variety of metrics again that we would use in this. This is again a screenshot from Google Analytics, and we might measure engagement by the total number of pages people viewed during a period of time. We might measure it by the average number of pages people looked at. So maybe one of our goals is to get people looking at more pages, or perhaps spending more time on the site as measured by the average time. For the new visits, what you're actually looking for there in the engagement stage is the inverse of that number. So I don't care as much that there are 86% new visits. What I care about is that 13% of the visitors to the site were returning visitors. So something about the site was or about our organization was interesting enough that they came back. So and that's a way you might measure engagement. And then we could also measure it. This is an example of a video that was posted up on YouTube, and it's had over 1,700 people view that video. It actually shows up #1 when you do a search on paralegal certificate, at least here in Atlanta. And this would be a measure of engagement. We have a link to this video. I actually have it embedded in the Emory University Paralegal Program's homepage, but it's streaming directly from YouTube, so people can also go directly to YouTube and view it. And then one other way you could measure engagement was, were people interested enough that they actually added the course to their shopping cart and began the checkout process? So did they take that step? And what you can see here in this graph is a comparison of basically the last 3 months compared to the 3 months before that. And it just shows you how the number of people even adding courses to their cart, not necessarily finishing the checkout process, people adding courses to their cart, kind of goes up and down. The green line represents the earlier period, and the blue line is the last 3 months. Okay, so we watch this because we're looking for our trends of, especially if we're making improvements to the website. The hope is that we're going to see those lines start to go up as more people are adding classes. So to improve your engagement, you're going to add more pages to your website, or improve the content on the pages you've already got, add cool features like articles, videos, or even just make it easier for people to navigate around your website. Add a search feature, or improve the menu bars on the website to make it clearer for people as to how to get to the information they're looking for, and that'll keep them sticking around. So lastly, last little piece here, we'll talk about the conversion. And I'll start by saying we've got 2 different kinds of conversions that we might think about online. For many programs or many adult education websites, the goal is to get enrollments, to get people to sign up or register for courses right there while they're on the website. But in other cases, that's not necessarily what's going to happen. For example, for high-dollar certificate programs or for corporate learning initiatives, your goal may actually just be to get a lead, to get someone to contact you, to have them fill out a program application or request more information about a program. So both of those types, both of those would be considered conversions. The enrollments represent real dollars coming in, and leads, you can calculate the monetary value of the leads if you track offline what your conversion rate is for those leads. So for example, if you get 100 leads a month for a certificate program and you track those and know that you ended up converting or registering 20 of those people, well then you've got a 20% conversion rate from the leads you're getting. Now, here are examples of these non-enrollment conversions that you might get. I think a lot of people get hung up thinking about conversions or as registrations, but these are all ways that you might convert people through your website that doesn't necessarily result in direct dollars, but hopefully down the road will turn into direct dollars for your program. So there's lots of opportunities to convert. In fact, a well-optimized site is going to give people lots of these kinds of options because you don't necessarily know where they are in the buying process. Maybe I'm not ready to take a class right now, but maybe I would join your mailing list, or maybe I have a question that I need answered before I'm going to enroll. So make sure that your website is giving people various options, not just simply the option to enroll. Now, if we want to increase our conversions, what we're going to do is have more call to actions on the site, but then also simplify the sign-up process. Let's say you're allowing people to register for an information session. We recently made this change in Emory. Do you really need their street address, their life history, if they just want to come to an info session? So what we now are moving toward asking is, we want to know your name, your phone number, and your email address, because we rarely ever mail out promotional items for that program, but we want to email people, and we certainly want to call and follow up with them. So asking for those 3 simple pieces of information, I predict, is going to dramatically increase the number of info session enrollments we're going to get, and obviously then we can follow up with those people, the increased number of people. And then improving your checkout process, streamlining that process as much as possible. You may not have control over the checkout process on your website, but you might also be surprised as to what kinds of changes you can make if you have an experienced web developer getting in there. In some cases you can't, but in many cases you can actually adapt even those third-party registration systems that come with the system you're using. So if I want to measure my conversions, some of the ways we might do that are to measure conversion rate. So if we take the total number of people that are arriving at our website, we can then divide that by the number of actual registrations that we get, and we can come up with a proportion of people that are enrolling. And you can see here a chart showing where we've got a conversion rate somewhere around maybe ranging from about 4% down to a little under 2% over time. So, and you will see seasonal and semester or quarter changes in your conversion rate. For example, if a lot of your classes start toward the beginning of the quarter, you might see your conversion rate really decline toward the middle of the quarter. And that's something that you would take into account when you're doing other kinds of marketing, because, again, if you think all the way back to awareness, driving more people to your website during a period where you have fewer classes available for registration is going to end up being, to some degree, a waste of money. So that's one type of conversion tracking. Here's another. This is showing you the cost per conversion from some pay-per-click marketing. Okay, and you can see that on average it's costing here about $30 per conversion. Now, if the class was a $70 class, that would be a pretty bad use of money. But if you're talking about a $3,000 or $4,000 certificate, $30 to get an online conversion is actually is a great use of marketing dollars. So, and this is provided through the Google AdWords system, this report. So, to recap what we've talked about and put it all into a nice visual for you, here are these 4 stages and kind of what's going on along the way. So you're using all of these techniques to generate awareness. You're then getting people interested on your website. You're engaging them, and then hopefully you're converting them. And throughout the whole process, you've got metrics in place so that you can tell exactly how well all of those efforts are working. The takeaways from this webinar, things that I want you to leave with, make sure that we've been clear about, are that people have to move through these 4 stages, right? And that there are various techniques you can use in each one of these stages to move people on, and different techniques are going to work in different levels of effectiveness for you than they would for us or for someone else in the industry. So you have to test these. If you're weak in even one of these 4 areas, it's going to cripple the end goal, which is to convert people. So every one of these stages has to be addressed, or you're going to be leaving people behind. You're going to have a bridge with a section missing. And then lastly, the metrics are just absolutely essential to make sure that you're not wasting money on, for instance, pay-per-click ads that aren't leading to enrollments, or spending a lot of effort doing landing page optimization without really knowing whether it's helping or hurting. So the metrics allow you to use data and allow you to create data-driven improvements rather than just gut check improvements.